Her 9000's game room.
Space Harrier is a third-person arcade rail shooter game which was both developed and published by Sega. It's in the arcades in 1985. Originally, Sega's idea had been to make a realistic military-themed third-person game which would feature a fighter jet. But technical and memory restrictions resulted in Sega developer Yu Suzuki, hopefully I've said his name right, deciding that instead he'd go with the idea of a jet-propelled human character flying through a fantasy setting. 2 years later, Sega would return to the military jet fighter idea, and we would get Afterburner, a game I've already reviewed. The Space Harrier arcade game is controlled by an analog flight stick, as well as featuring a simple stand-up version. The game also came in a deluxe arcade cabinet, which featured a cockpit-style hydraulic motion simulator cabinet that tilted and rolled during play. This probably sounds very familiar if you watch my Afterburner video. Space Harrier was a highly commercially successful arcade machine, leading to the game being ported to over 20 different home computers and gaming platforms, some of which were done by Sega, with others being handled by outside developers. Okay, so on to the Master System version now. How does it fare? Well, I certainly think that Sega put a lot of effort into trying to downscale this arcade game onto a Master System cart, but I do have some issues with it. Let's put it this way. In some areas it excels, but in other areas it is problematic. The most obvious thing to grab you is that the graphics not only are a serious downgrade, but they also don't fully work. The limited colour palette and the lack of proper backgrounds are to be expected and wouldn't really hurt the game. My biggest issue is the incredibly blocky edges around both enemies and obstacles. They don't look like they're part of the actual game world. They look awful, and it really breaks my immersion. It actually makes the game look like it was never properly finished. When you get to the glitchy first boss swirling round, you will wonder if there's a problem with your cartridge. Trust me, there is not. This is how the game was programmed. The graphical issue is an absolute crying shame, because if you can get past this, then the gameplay on this version is not too bad at all. Your character's movement is good, firing feels right, it's not a bad game to play at all. It's fun if you can push past this major issue. For me, the best thing about this game on the Master System is the sound. The music has been ported across from the arcade game wonderfully. The music is awesome and it really meets the fantasy feel of this game. Maybe it has something to do with me watching a whole lot of reruns of Blake 7 with my dad. But one of the tracks in this game really sounds like a remix of the Blake 7 theme to me. But maybe that's just me. I also have to point out that they did an amazing job of porting 2 of the arcade game voice samples across. You'll hear the phrase "get ready," as well as the main character's death cry. Sure, there are other voice samples which are missing from the arcade version, but the ones that have been done here for the Master System are done brilliantly and really add to the feel of the game. If I was to give this game a score, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Despite the fact that Sega used a large Master System cart, they just didn't manage to do quite enough in my opinion. If only they'd found a way to iron out some of the jagged graphics, this would be better. If you want to get a copy of this for the Master System, well, copies seem to be a bit thinner on the ground than they were for Afterburner. Apparently CEX sell it for £4 for a loose cart, but at present there are no copies of it available. The cheapest copy I could find online anywhere was a boxed copy missing its manual for £18 including postage, and that's not a price that I'd recommend people to pay for this game. Okay, that's Kerr9000 signing off saying keep on playing those games. Laters, taters. Hi, it's Kerr9000. Thank you for checking out my video and for making it to the end. If you'd like to subscribe, then there'll be a little thing for you to click on right near the end, and you'll also see a link to one of my videos and one of my playlists. I make reviews of horror films, both modern and retro video game reviews, science fiction film reviews, and all kinds of other stuff. I even show off some of my collection. You can also find me on the Retro Gamer Unofficial Forum, which is a great place for retro gaming chat, and it keeps on growing every day. It's well worth checking out. Once again, thank you very much and have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye.